Dear all, good morning. Today we are going to learn about the history of the internet in a nutshell, actually. If you're reading this, you know, it is likely that you'll spend a fair amount of the time online because we are receiving this video from the online medium itself. We make this video and upload it on the YouTube and get the video from there only. Now, however, considering how much of influence the internet has in our daily lives, how many of us actually know the story how it's going to start? Because it's a very interesting story. It takes a very longer time. Most of the day, most of our daily lives, most of our daily lives is consume daily lifetime is consumed with the internet, and internet is helping us in every corner of life. If you want to send us a message to our near endearments, there is apps present out there on the internet. There are the social media networks. If you want to buy something, there are some e-commerce websites. So, however, so there's all those influence. There's all influence is only due to the internet. So let's have you know, uh, some understanding of the history of internet as well, because it will give you the clear-cut idea how this concept grow, how the concept of internet grows, and which and how the so wisdom, how the intelligence and the wisdom of the people around those times help us to get the internet of this form. So we here in this you know, here in this lecture, actually we will understand our for internet. We will understand what the internet is all about, and how internet is all about. But what am I understanding by preparing this documentation for you is that while the complete history of internet could easily fill a few books, actually. This article should only here is only to familiarize with the key milestones and events related to the growth and evolution of internet between 1969 to 2009 in general. After that, after that, we somehow has used internet. So, but I pushed this documentation up to you know to the 2016, and then we will go for one infographics, actually. So I consider historically what is internet is in front of us, that is web 3.0 now. Initially, when it's converts to web 2.0 in the year 2000, in the year 2004, I consider this is a very important phenomenon. This is very important phenomena on which the internet dimensions has taken a leap and bound growth mechanism. Let's start the things. Now let's start the thing. How it is. So let's start the thing. Internet. So we had discussed. We considered the history. History till 2009, and discussed 2016, and further we make sure that internet what we are using, we are able to connect with the past. See, first of all, internet in the internet domain, this word ARPANET, American Research Project Agency Network, ARPANET plays very important role play in understanding this. This is one of the first documentation of the connectivity of the different computing devices present to the universities. ARPANET was the first real network which runs on the packet switching technology, and the packet switch technology was the new at that time. Understand this, these things, how this network is working. It's a very clean network, and the satellite circuit, and how this is Pentagon, the our medical sorry medical I'm saying so American research as a research agency of defense is out here, and this is connected to London as well, and this is connected to Rutgers, and these are the different university and university. These are the PDP, PDP-1 and PDP-10. These are the computers which are connected towards with. Okay, and this is a first generation computer back. Okay, this is one of the more computer Nova, and these are the PDP-10, PDP-11. These are the computer configuration which is connected with the ARPANET at a different location. Okay, this is University of Illinois. This is University of Iowa, and different universities in Hawaii. Different universities connected, connected with this Pentagon Research Agency, from which in this connectivity we actually share information from this research from this place to different research units, from where they also have a connection with the London based their neighborhood as well, and they are mentioning that which machine is connected with it, like PDP-9, PDP-10, PDP-11, and C language was also tested on this PDP platform as well. So this is the ARPANET network. Okay, and this ARPANET network was the one of the primary implementation of the connectivity of the network, which uses packet switching technology, and which was very new at the time. On the October 29, 1969, computers at Stanford and UCLA connected for the first time. So Stanford University, UCLA is also university. So the first time they connected, and the first host on what, and in fact they were the first host. This university model was the first host, and what would be one day become the internet for us. And the message they sent was login, and the message sent from the Stanford to the UCLA was across the network was login. But reportedly, the link between two colleges crashed on the letter G. So we were only able to get LO from University of Stanford to the UCLA. So this is the beginning, first connectivity of the computers, and first host computer sending to some information over the internet was login, and still we only get LO to our domain. Let's move. What is Unix? And Unix is an operating system. It is one of the most important development of this time, because Unix gives us strength from which since inception it's become a server side phenomenon. Right now, this operating system, right now this operating system has helped us creating the Linux and FreeBSD, which works as a popular operating system for our web servers, web hosting services as well. Okay, and this is Unix. One should understand what is Unix. If you are in a computing domain and computer science engineer or IT enthusiast, one should understand how the Unix commands works. Let's move. In the 1969, the ARPANET was trying to connect different arena of the things. And in 1970, ARPANET network was in the full boom between the Harvard, MIT, and IBM, the company that created interface message processor. Because as we came across that when the message was sent from the Stanford to the UCLA, we only get login, we only get LO at the meta side. So to manage this, we have now interface message processor. Computer used to connect to the network in the 1970. Computer used to connect to the network in 1970. Now, this much we got with the help of the Unix operating system as well. Okay. Now, 1970, in 1967, in 1969 we got a concept of ARPANET. In 1969 as well, we got a concept of Unix. In 1970 we got a concept of the ARPANET network. And in 1971 we improvised the concept of the email. Email was first developed by the Ron Tomlinson in 1971, who also made the decision to use @ to separate the username from the computer name. So still a web server, domain, things were out of scene. Only name and computer name was important. Since saying this ARPANET network, this is the thing, this is a PDP-10. So if my name is Satyanan Chaturvedi, then maybe I can be SNC at the rate of PDP 10, and my place as well, Scott, PDP 11 is Scott. Or you can say that PDP 11 SNC at the rate of PDP 11 Pentagon. So my name fits at the at the rate analogy. I connect with the place and the which system I am going to use. Okay, because number of systems was very less actually. That's what it was possible. Now, and as further developments were coming up in the market, in the 1971, Project Gutenberg and ebooks was taken care. Project Gutenberg, something was that, and these are those people behind this. Project Gutenberg take this internet in a very different uh, space altogether. They try to get an electronic formation of the books. They used to firstly they manually write those books and upload on the internet. Okay, right now it's a very easy job to share download a e-book and after 2.3 MB. But have you ever understanding that 2.3 MB or 3 MB, how much words are there? If anyone is going to write out there, how much time it takes? These are the people who makes those efforts. One of the most impressive development in 1971 was the Project Gutenberg. Project Gutenberg, for those unfamiliar with the site, is a global effort to make books and document in the public domain available electronically. Just was they were good minds with a wise understanding of. They tried to give the e-book books in a free environment from which the learnings does not get uprooted. Initially in the past history we came across that whenever anyone tried to attack on some different country or people, they first approved the education model of that place. So it's became when Michael Hart gained access to the large block of computing time and came to realization that the future of computer was not in computing itself, but in the storage, retrieval, and searching of information. And right now, computing is doing this part. YouTube, through the help of the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, we are understanding this thing. That at the time was only contained in libraries. So Michael Hart is the person who, when he got an access to the computer, he tried to improvise those things. He manually typed. He manually typed books. Those books. Right now we have OCR technology, optical character recognition. OCR is a technology that recognizes text within a digital image. So right now we have this technology, but at the initial of the when this project Gutenberg was launched, it was like a declaration of independence that this book is the property of everyone who's ever able to access those internet. Okay. Let's move. So to make information content in a book widely available in electronic form, these persons are responsible. These persons are Project Gutenberg, Michael Hart. These are the things which are responsible for the birth of the ebook on the internet. Now, in 1972, like ARPANET, French people have an idea of the Cyclades. In 1972, Cyclades was shut down, but it's in the process of development. They put one key idea: the host computer should be responsible for the data transmission rather than the network itself. This gives us the right base for the study of the data sending from one place to another. Now let's move. So in 1972, Cyclades were there. From there, we came across that the host computer and the network can be differentiated. In 1973, the first transatlantic connection in the popularity of emailing was there. So ARPANET made its first transatlantic connection in 1973. So ARPANET is growing, and they connected with the University of London. That's what I have depicted this here in their network. They have connected to the London with the PDP 911 system, and in the year of 1973. Okay. During the same year, email accounting for 75% of all internet. ARPANET was a network computer, and the email concept was introduced in 1971. In April 1973, email conversation got a big push. Okay. Now, in 1974, the beginning of TCP/IP. Now, this is a very important conception in the technology. TCP/IP, the beginning of TCP and IP. The beginning of the TCP and IP always gives us an understanding. Okay, one system can assume. With the help of this cyclet, we came across that host computer can should be a data transmission rather than the network itself. TCP/IP add the value to this concept. With the help of the TCP/IP, a proposal was published. With the help of the TCP/IP, what we can do is inter-network can be created. So this proposal of TCP/IP was published to link ARPA linked networks to get a so-called inter-network, and have no central control would have work around the transmission control protocol. No central control was there. Actually, there was no monitoring there. The TCP/IP was set up on the network and it was this concept of person-free protocol. No any monitoring was required on this TCP/IP. Yes, network engineers are there to monitor this, but in general, very less interpretation of the human brain and human energy is required to process this. Now, let's move. As we came across that 1971 was the year in which we proposes the email concept, and until 1973 during the ARPANET, very much very much connectivity was there. Connectivity in the email connectivity was getting a space. Now, email was accounting 75% of their bandwidth as well at the end of the time. It's wrong to use the word bandwidth right out there, but still, just to make you understand that during the network conversation between the two different computers of the two different places, PDP-11 or PDP-10 or UNIVAC or PDP-10 at the moment of time in the 1970s, email was the main conversation. So people used to analyze the email very well, and with the popularity of emailing, the first modern email program was developed by the John Whittle, and he was a programmer in University of Southern California in 1975. And the biggest technology advance of this program made was the reply and forward function. Initially, we just used to send a. Now, with the help of this gentleman, John Whittle, at the University of Southern California, we are able to add the reply and forward functionality as well. And this was a breakthrough innovation. In 1977, the first PC modem was introduced by Dennis Shell and Dale Huntington, and was initially sold to the computer hobbyist. Now this is it's getting a try. If I want to connect in the network, I just need a modem and I'm able to connect. 1977 can be like a 1974, 1977 we can be also said as a big year. Okay. In 1977, with the invent of PC modem, we moved towards the bulletin board system in 1978. Bulletin board system, it was developed in the Blizzard Chicago in 1978. What is bulletin board system? You have access to many bulletin board system. Bulletin board system is the thing you can. It's electronic way of representing those informations on the board. Let's understand now. Now, emailing is a big run and demand of the market as well, and we are developing a technology side by side and enhancing it. In 1978, first time email bombardment was taken care of. In spam is gone because network access was very limited, and if it is spam, the network will be crashed. Okay, so in 1978, there's the first unsolicited commercial email message letter known as SMS sent out to 600 California ARPANET user by Gary Thurr, and this was the you can say that very official type of thing. But right now, one should understand, if we take an example of any drainage, the drainage is a very limited type of water capacity or any capacity to flow through. If we send, you know, within that capacity, if we send over amount, or over, like if the capacity is to 2 liter per second and I send the 20 liter per second, what will happen? It will overflow. So that drainage is overflow. That's what happened to those networks as well. When we spamming was there, network got overflow and same and comes from the same state like what it has been in the initial, that if we send a login, we only get a log. So purpose of the internet connectivity and the all about to differ, but there are people who used to take care of the thing by experimenting and making internet safe. What internet we are using is the report of the 1,000 peoples. And now people are taking interest in this domain. And the first MUD, multiplayer game system, was introduced, and where we can only text the things. The precursors of the World of War of Craft, Second Life, was developed in the 1970s. These are the multiplayer games, multi-user multi-user games. So, and MUDs are totally virtual based games, combining the elements of the role gaming, interactive fiction, and online chat. So, and this way I'm using this MUD. This was the interface on which we are using this internet. I understand this path, clef, and only just text formation, but still enjoyment was there, fascination was there. Interactive thing is going on, sitting on the computer, and imagine that somebody is sitting in California and somebody is sitting in London. They are using to interact and playing games. That was a huge amount of the tester and within their mind as well, just to feel happy. In 1979, we got a Usenet. Usenet created by two graduates. Use was an internet-based discussion system. Now, this simple text-based transformation is, pushing itself into the internet-based discussion system, where people are around from the internet to converse about some topic by posting public messages categorized as the news columns. This concept has been enhanced by the Facebook only. See what Facebook we are using. It's just the concept of the Usenet, and still Facebook was also a brainchild of somebody in the graduate students, and it is budded and it's grew exponentially. Finally, what Facebook we are looking at as a different panorama altogether than its inception. In 1980, we have our Inquire software. Inquire software was first built in CERN, where the HTML was invented actually by Tim Berners-Lee, our father of computer, father of internet, you can say, father of web, you can say that. So, European Organization for Nuclear Research, better known as CERN, launched Inquire, written by the Tim Berners-Lee, a hypertext program that allows scientists at the particle physics lab to keep track of people, software, and projects using hypertext. And what is hypertext? Hypertext is initially, see the history. Initially, we are able to send a message, single word message, login, which was failed, but we used to send a login. With the growing of the time, we are able to send a text from email. With the growing time, email was updated like reply and forward. Again, with the pass of the time, we are able to communicate multi-user at a single time and play the game as well. And with we are used to create a discussion groups on the internet. Now the thing is, for the scientific data interaction between the different physicists around, Tim Berners-Lee has proposed the Inquire software with the hypertext phenomenon, and which is having a hyperlinks. So now he is able to connect image and text, hypertext. That's why it's known as hypertext. Text has been upgraded. It is hyper. It has a hyper effect. So from which he is able to track the record of the physics lab. This software has to track the record of the physics lab. So in 1982, EmotionCon, we frequently use this. The first EmotionCon was introduced in the 1982, and it was credited to the Kevin McKenzie. With the invention of the EmotionCon is in 1972, it was Scott Follum in 1982 who proposed using for Joe rather than original proposed by McKenzie. The modern EmotionCon was born. See, these concepts are having a history. Whatever you're using in a computing domain, mobile domain, there is having a history. There, the many people is involved in it. One should understand in curiosity as well. So in 1983, ARPANET switched over to TCP/IP. So ARPANET, now understanding the understanding the dimension that network can not only help in sending and receiving the information. TCP/IP was ARPANET adopted the TCP/IP concept, where user, receiver, and network was very much separated, and the job sending and receiving job was sent to the user and receiver, and the network was there to provide the path. So on January 1, 1983 was the deadline for ARPANET computers to switch over to the TCP/IP protocols developed by Winton Cerf. A few hundred computers were affected by the switch. The name server was also developed in 1983. Now, as TCP/IP is gaining its recognition, more people were able to connect. And when the more people were able to connect, initially when the email was there, we just have a name at the rate of computer name at that place. Now more people are connecting, and they're having accessing of internet, or you can say that the ARPANET. So this was not easy to manage, and TCP/IP is nothing just a combination of numbers. So for human interface, we need to define something from which easy communication can be done. So in 1984, domain name system was introduced. Domain name system was nothing, and for managing this domain name system, we have a DNS, domain name service. Domain name system was important. That is made the address of internet more human friendly. You know, that 192.168.0.1. Like, these are the addresses. But what was the thing? In domain name servers, domain name servers will able to give us the human friendly link. Like, let's assume we have a example. Take the example of the Facebook, www.facebook.com. Actually, the server is not able to connect with that particular part. Server is not able to connect with that particular part. Server is able to connect with that part only when. Server is able to connect that particular part only when that DNS is changed into the IP address. So DNS, for managing this only, we need to have a server that is known as the DNS server. This is somehow working out there. DNS servers used to have a single root structure, and finally many branches were there. Okay, we will be able to understand this in our further units and lectures. DNS servers allow the internet user to type in an easy to remember domain and then convert it to the IP address automatically, what we have discussed actually. Okay. Now, this TCP/IP is still a domain name system, and is still here. Now in 1985, our first virtual community was introduced. You know, virtual community. 1985 brought the development of the WELL, short form of whole earth, electronic link. WELL, whole earth electronic link. So one of the oldest virtual communities is still in operation. It was developed by Stewart Brand and Larry Brilliant. You can Google it up and understand the words better. In February 1885, it was started out as a community of the readers and writers of the Whole Earth Review, and was open but remarkable, literate, and unwritten intellectual gathering. Now people were using internet to share their intellectual conversation and get recognition and get some more knowledge-based system from there. But as the time process, this virtual communities has having a group of illiterate and uninhibited intellectual gathering as well. So a Wired magazine once called the most influential online community in the world. See, why we need community on the world? If you have used YouTube, there is option of the community. Community is like if I am of something, like say, if my hobby is cooking and I'm uploading a video for the cooking, so I can connect with the community. I can call to different person and have a discussion what you want to and how you cook, how I cook, there's sharing, recipe sharing sessions can be done. So this is the profit of community actually, from which the people sitting out of the different part of the world is able to communicate, and give us their valuable information. Let's move. In 1986, what happens? 1986 protocol was fair because European countries were using the OSI model and United States was using the Internet ARPANET protocol, or you can say the TCP/IP as well. So OSI was basically used in European countries, and the United States was using this Internet and ARPANET protocol, or you can say that the TCP/IP protocol. Right now we are using TCP/IP protocol. The OSI model is our model which guides us how to connect. So in general we can say that in this war, United States has won this. In 1987, Internet goes by having a number in initial on the ARPANET network. We have only number of computer. We can count it on our fingers only. But in 1987, nearly 30,000 hosts on Internet was there. The only original ALPA protocol has been limited to the 1,000 hosts only. But the adoption of the TCP/IP standards made them the large host possible. Okay. That's why in 1980s, 83, ARPANET was changed to the TCP/IP standards because their limitation was only 1,000 hosts only. And with the adoption of the TCP/IP standards, we are able to connect more people out there. Now in 1988, IRC, Internet Relay Chat. Relay chat is there if I send and get a feedback as well. Send feedback. Like you would WhatsApp. In 1980, that first Internet Relay Chat was first deployed, paving the way for the real-time chat and instant messaging programs what we use today. So what we use today is the one of the extension of the Internet Relay Chat. Now, in 1988, first major malicious internet-based attack. This world is full of the different type of people. Sometimes people, and every time this world imagination of the people is like, I need to conquer this world. Now, with the help of the internet, people also tried that, and they attack on this internet network to be a commanding officer of it. And the first attack was the Morris Worm attack, written by the Robert Tappan Morris. Caused major interruption. It was the last part of the internet. Just to sometimes people used to do this thing to prove his superiority. Yeah, see such a way that I can interrupt any whatever meeting. It's my feeling. In 1989, AOL is launched. What is AOL? Okay, what is AOL? You better understand what is AOL. When Apple pulled out the Apple Link program in 1989, the project was renamed and American Online was born. So AOL is American Online. Still in existence today, later on made the internet popular amongst the average internet users. We are able to having this concept now, Internet Relay Chat. AOL was just pushing that concept with the help of this Apple company. In 1989, the proposal of the first World Wide Web (WWW) was launched. How it is proposed? See, this was the proposal. On CERN, we have a different division groups and group sections. And Tim Berners-Lee was there, who wrote any document, and that document refers to the different journals, and that describes hypertext, which is linked with the Inquire software and the HyperCard. Okay, and this Inquire software is also connected with this document is proposal as amendment, which connect with the different IBM group people, computer conference, and uses it using CERN documentation. And this is all updated towards the inquiry. This was the proposal of the Tim Berners-Lee. If document is there, then it should be a hierarchical system, and many changes can be done. And in many changes, it should show the linked information, and within the hypertext, we can also able to include a hypermedia within the document as well. Okay, hypermedia in the sense image, video, audio. So 1989, we got a proposal of the World Wide Web written by the Tim Berners-Lee, and this was the proposal actually. It was originally published in the March issue of the Macworld and then redistributed in the May 1990. It was written to persuade CERN that a global hypertext system was in CERN's best interest. It was originally called MESH, then turned to the World Wide Web. Was coined by Tim Berners-Lee. Was writing who write the code in 1990. So in 1990, first commercial dial-up ISP, Internet Service Provider, came into the existence, and the same year ARPANET was seized, because you understand that the ARPANET has one user limitation, but the TCP/IP we can enhance the user. Next, the World Wide Web protocol is finished. The code for the World Wide Web was written by the Tim Berners-Lee and based on the proposal from the year, along with the standards of the HTML, HTTP, and URLs. Now, Tim Berners-Lee proposed, and he created a World Wide Web with the standards of the HTML, HTTP, and URLs. These were the concept which was used in this system. So, in all, he was the person who introduced this Inquire software with the HTML platform, and with the help of this hypertext transfer protocol using TCP and IP, and the web browser concept. With the help of the web browser concept and proposing the URLs, he was able to create a whole www protocol environment. In 1991, now these are the basics blocks. These are the bricks which is needed to create an internet. What we have discussed till date. These are the bricks which have been created for the what we have discussed today. Now, let's move ahead. In 1991, first web page was created, and this was the first web page. See, the World Wide Web is a worldwide hypermedia information retrieval initiative aiming to give universal access to the large universe of the documents. Everything there is an outline W3. World Wide Web is linked directly or indirectly to the document, include an executive summary of the project, mailing list, policy, November, World Wide Web news, frequently asked questions. What out there? Pointers to the world online information, subjects, World Wide Web servers, help on the browsers you are using, software products, a list of the World Wide Web projects, components, and their current state line, next servers, tools, technical details for the protocol format, program, internal sector, bibliography, paper documentation, people, list of some people involved in the project, history, summary of the history, how can help. And these are the first web was created with the help of HTML, HTTP, and this was access to the URL. So in 1991, we brought a major innovation in the world of the internet. The first web page was created, much like the first email explained what email was. Its purpose was to explain the World Wide Web. And what we have discussed this right now. Okay, now this whole process of WWW came into the existence. Now we have to go ahead. How it was ready to change our world. Now, in 1991, first content-based search protocol was launched, and that was called Gopher. First search protocol that examined file contents instead of just file name. सिर्फ नाम से नहीं, फाइल के कंटेंट के अंदर में क्या लिखा है, that is also taken care by this Gopher protocol. So this name is like Xcopy. It's not it. Either what is inside this image or what is inside this text document is also taken care of by the Gopher protocol. In 1991, first MP3 became the standard format for the highly compressed thing. MP3 became accepted as a standard, and which was in long term, which was used to compress the file and later share to the songs, inform the songs and albums via internet. Now, 1991 is a very exciting year for this world as well. In 1991, first webcam was also introduced. One of the most interesting development of this year. Through was the first webcam. I'm making this video with the help of the webcam only. It was deployed by the Cambridge University Computer Lab, and its sole purpose was to monitor a particular coffee maker so that the lab users could avoid wasted trips to the empty coffee pot. See, small questions need to be answered from which we create an innovation or invent something. This is just a small purpose to monitor coffee maker. We are able to create a webcam. You need the motivation for creation. In 1992, the term surfing the internet is quite popular. The term Bernard-Lee posed the first word of the brand less horrible Scarnettis on the web. This was the photo placed by Tim Berners-Lee. The line mode browsers launched, the first readily accessible browser for the World Wide Web. Initially, we have a line mode browsers. It was I think as the major development, but Mosaic was the first graphical web browser for the general public. In 1989 we got, and 1989-90 the 1990 first commercial dial-up was there, and to have a dial-up and have this modem, we need to connect with the softwares only. The softwares environment is created by the browser, and the URL is there. But to really understand the web browser was not an easy job, because it needs commands and all. To make this thing easy for the general public, Mosaic launches graphical web browser launches graphical web browsers. This first graphical web browser was for the general public. This first graphical web browser for the general public, and this was its image was there. Like this is what the graphical, we can just click and understand the thing. Like right now we are using the product. See, here it is an example of it. I am just clicking and I am getting all this information. Right? So this was at that time, 1993, Mosaic was able to crack this. Okay, what is it? So the first widely downloaded internet browser was Mosaic, which was released in 1993. Now, Mosaic was not the first web browser. It is considered the first browser that made the internet easily accessible to the non-techies, which was the very fun idea. I can say that it was a very breakthrough innovation. I can say that it was the very breakthrough innovation. Let's move. So, Abhi, right now, internet is just taking its pavement within the techie community, within the researcher community, within the scientist community. Now, in 1993, White House and United Nations came online with the domains name like .gov and .org. .gov for the government, .org for the organization. So, now, in 1994, Netscape Navigator was launched. Mosaic was not the first web browser, but still he has had on the stop that he is the first web browser using the graphical phenomenon. Now, Mosaic first big competitor was Netscape Navigator, which was released in 1994. Okay, In 1995, commercialization of the internet was followed. If a government is coming, the commercialization is a very normal phenomenon. Very normal phenomenon. For that, we first introduced secure socket layers from which the uh, information of the user were in a safe mode. We have a safety. Storing retrieval property was there. What we have discussed in past. That when the ebooks were launched by the Project Gutenberg. But this commercialization of internet, um, during the commercialization of internet, one have to think whether the internet is prepared or not. Because ARPANET, we only think about the 100,000 users. We just came with the TCP/IP. That's why this IP4, IP protocols have different names. IP4, IP6. Actually, this IP344, IP346, having just a upgradation of the existing technologies and the scaling of their numbers as well, because this IP can be enhanced. That was its property, and it was enhanced to the IP. Right now we are using IPv6. Initially in 2008, 10, and 2004, maybe we are using IPv4, but right now we are using this IPv6 model because it is upgraded very much for the different applications. So in 1995, often considered the first year the web became commercialized. While there was a commercial enterprise, few key developments was happened. But this SSL encryption was developed by the Netscape, making the safer to conduct financial transaction like credit and card payment online. If commercialization there, then the money transaction is there. So for money, we need to require a secure software. So for search engines, we have now Gopher protocol. For online card payments or for the security, we have SSL, secure software players. In addition, two major online businesses got their start same year. The first sale was EcoBay and was made that year, and EcoBay later became eBay. Okay. And the Amazon.com was also started in 1995, though it didn't turn a profit for 6 years. Right now, his owner is one of the richest person in the world. In 1995, GeoCities Vatican goes online and JavaScripts were introduced as well. Another major development of this year was that because now religious bodies also giving his mandate to the internet, this was also a huge development, because usually in our study we came across the religious bodies used to have a fight with the science and technology. Now if the Vatican is giving his authority stamp by going online, now it is going to be accessible by the general public and the commercialization become easy. This this is the word how this is the way how world behaves. Intermix of the religion, intermix of the commercialization, intermix of the technology, intermix of the government. It's all tangled up, and end of the day, it's all benefit. Or we try to benefit the human society. We try to benefit the human society as well as motto is there. Now, other development includes was at 1995 was to the Vatican City was going online. The Vatican also went online for the first time. The Java and JavaScript was originally called Leave Script by its creator. Java was also Java was also introduced. Java was also introduced at in 1995 as well. And JavaScript, originally called as the Live Script, also introduced in 1995 and deployed as a part of Netscape Navigator. So the Netscape Navigator was a very important phenomena in the computer in the web browser world. It gives us SSL protocol. It's introduces verification validation with the help of the JavaScript, and it is giving these things to the public. Okay. In parallel, now this is open space. In the open space, we are doing so now. The big organizations are also coming on this domain. Now, ActiveREST was launched by the Microsoft in the following year. Okay, in competition of this JavaScript. So, in 1996, first web-based webmail services was launched, and it was known as the Hotmail. Right now, Uh, Hotmail is there. Hotmail was launched, and which was the first web-based webmail service. Web-based webmail service was first, and it was developed by an Indian, Sabir Bhatia. Okay, bought her, and its concept was bought up by uh, Microsoft as only. So in 1997, the term weblog is coined. Well, the first blogs have been around few years in one form. 1997 was the first year the term weblog was used. And in 1998, the first news story to be broken online instead of traditional media. In 1998, first major story to be broken online was the Bill Clinton Monica Lewinsky scandal, also known as the Monica Gate among the internets, which was posted as the drug report. Now, internet is going to general public. Now, general public information is coming on the internet. This was the first book, news. Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky scandal. In 1998, big player of now, Google was introduced, and it revolutionized the way where the people search information on the internet. So see, special thanks to Stanford Search, Linux Search, help Google company information. This is the first beta version of the Google. Okay, and standard, all those past institutions were helping in this development to their students. In 1998, internet-based file sharing gets its roots. Okay, now we are able to share a file to the internet. In 1998 as well, Napster was launched up to the gates the mainstream audio files over the internet. So with the help of the Napster, we have now file names and we are able to download, and from a server. And this was the major boom for the music lovers. In 1999, SETI at the Rate of Home project was launched. Okay, so in 1999 is the year when one of the more interesting projects were bought online, the SETI Home project. And this the project has created the equivalent of the giant supercomputer by harnessing the computer power of the more than 3 million computers worldwide. Using their processors, whenever the screensaver comes on, indicating that the computer is idle. The program analyzes radio telescope data for the signal. Signs of extraterrestrial intelligence. So this was the thing which was able to harness a system at the different locations with technology. In 2000, the bubble burst was there, that dot-com burst we also understand. 2000 was the year of the dot-com collapse, resulting in the huge loss of the legions of the investors. Hundreds of companies closed, some of the which has never turned profits for the investors. The Nasdaq, which listed a large number of tech companies affected by the bubble, peaked at over 5,000 and lost 10% of its value in a single day. Finally hit bottom in October 2002. After that, a new era of the internet was launched. So we will have this discussion till time. In the next, we will understand about the discussion in the new millennium, and we will continue with the history of internet lecture. Thank you for your patience.